Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that? Something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical, or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/techtime. Again, that's turbodebt.com/techtime, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of TechTime Radio.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person, talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a little sense of humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. We are live streaming during the show on 5, well, maybe 4 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, X/not at this time, and we'll talk about that, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host, a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. Today in the studio, we have co-host Mike Gorday back, and our whiskey connoisseur, Marc Gregoire, is in studio along with Odie behind the board. Mike's an award-winning author originally from Arizona. He is a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike is here to keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. Our whiskey connoisseur here, Marc Gregoire, is a senior executive with a 30-year record of establishing, implementing, and refining cutting-edge solutions to address business needs and optimize opportunities in the print business. He's a skilled whiskey drinker, and he's our go-to pick-of-the-day expert. We are all friends from different backgrounds. For bringing the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
Oh boy, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, Elon Musk has suggested that all users of X may have to pay for access to the platform. We're going to be talking about Irish regulators that have fined TikTok over $345 million for violating children's privacy acts. Also, then we have the U.S. president for BOXX, BOXX Insurance today. He's going to talk about cybersecurity insurance on a personal level. This is something that we've talked about on the corporate level, on the business, small business, large business size. But guess what? There is now a plan that you can have as a personal individual to protect you and your family. We're going to be talking about that. And then we're going to be learning about flying taxis. And Las Vegas is a mess with ransomware requests in the billions of dollars. And we are boldly looking back at what happened in September 17th, 1976. In addition, of course, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, and a possible Nathan Nugget. And, of course, our pick of the day, whiskey tasting during the commercials. Today, we have selected a special whiskey. We're going to learn all about that. But today, it'll either get 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show from Mike and I. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now, it is time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1. Would you pay to use X or Twitter? Elon Musk thinks everyone should pay to be on his platform. Now, we used to broadcast all of our live streams on X, right? So I did some little research into this. And so we've had some problems recently, whether it decides to broadcast it or doesn't broadcast it on X. Essentially, I need to pay for the premium subscription plan so I can get a guaranteed streaming selection. Otherwise, they will pick and choose if they decide to put our stream up there. So we're going to have to talk a little bit about that as a production meeting. Do we want to continue to stream on X? But before we do that, now let's go to Elizabeth Canty on a story regarding the platform.
Elon Musk has suggested that all users of X, formerly called Twitter, may have to pay for access to the platform. In a conversation with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the billionaire said a payment system was the only way to counter bots. "We're moving to having a small monthly payment for use of the system," the Tesla and SpaceX boss said. It is unclear whether this was just an off-the-cuff comment or a signal of firmer plans that have yet to be announced. Elon has looked to incentivize users to pay for an enhanced service, which is now called X Premium, at the cost of $8 a month. Musk said that he was now looking at cheaper options for users. We will see if that truly happens. Nathan, I am sure this makes Mike and the listeners go,
It doesn't make me go.
So
We've been talking about this for a while.
We've
been saying that he's probably going to try and do this anyway.
So now it's out that
Zuckerberg talked about doing it a year ago.
So let's talk about some of the downfalls, right? So right now, just to be very clear, X is still free, at least this week. So you can still use X as an individual user for free. But it's interesting because the financials for the company, Elon has said that they're not able to make enough money and they have to tackle this whole thing about bots. So when they came into, which is interesting though, when he came into Twitter or X, we'll just call it X now. When he came into X, he had to get rid of a lot of people and he got rid of 30 to 40% of all accounts were bots and fake.
Yeah, you know what a pretext is?
What's that?
So that's sort of an excuse for why you do something when it's not really why you're doing something. So if you were going to invade a different country, and you use the pretext of they just stole my wife Helen from me and I'm going to invade, that's a pretext.
Okay.
This sounds like a pretext.
You think so? So
Yeah.
Here's the problem though. If he starts charging everybody $8, now he says he's going to try to find a cheaper price. Maybe he goes down to a $2.99 or a $3.99 a month type of service.
Yeah,
but still, to do that, everybody's going to have to pay, which is a reoccurring revenue stream, which every business loves, right? They love that reoccurring revenue. But the other question that I have, which is probably the most important, what happens to the advertisers, right? So the advertisers are coming there because there's a bunch of people that are a part of the advertising itself.
Well, they're going to be paying too.
Well, but they're already paying now. What happens if the advertisers decide that I'm not going to pay because the total number of people on the platform just plummeted by 30 to 40% because everybody has to pay? As an advertiser, I'd say, you know what, I'd rather have people on here for free. And at least there's a lot of people that may see my advertising ads that I get versus having a select number of people.
Yeah, but if you're X, you're not getting any of that money, right?
Well, they make the money on the advertising, right? So they sell advertising, right?
I don't know. I mean, I think this is impacting people a different way. I mean, somebody like me, I'm not gonna pay. I don't use it enough.
That's right.
But I'm not going to be held hostage to paying because I have thousands of followers either. So these people that use this for monetary gain, they're going to be leveraged into paying for it because then they lose all their followers.
So we've moved to
pretext.
Post. Yeah, so we've used a post.news. So it's kind of this new type of service. We're going to get more and more talking about it. And it's kind of the rival to Twitter that's actually picking up. So all the True Social, all these other things didn't work. But there's this post.news, which is a conglomerate of a lot of people that left Twitter to create this social media app. Really just the same as Twitter type of deal. A little bit of some Facebook features. I think this is going to catch on, and we've been posting there for a while now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, social media things pop up all the time. We've been talking about them forever now.
Yep.
I can say that if there is something that can tackle this problem and get rid of X, this might be the time.
Yeah.
And who knows? We've talked about maybe Elon. That's what Elon wants. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to really deal with this.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he just wants to create his...
He's sabotaging it.
Yeah, that could be it. All right, let's
Who
go
knows?
to... That's right. That's right. Let's go to story number 2, Mike.
Oh, well, talking about, streaming services and social media.
Yep.
Do you know who Russell Brand is?
Wasn't he like this eccentric actor? So I've seen him for a while, a couple times. I never really followed him, though.
I don't either, but he's a comedian from the UK.
Okay.
He actually did the remake of Arthur, if you know what that movie is.
I did, yeah. Arthur was who's the older guy that was in it?
Dudley Moore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, YouTube is blocking monetization of Russell Brand's account after some sexual assault claims that have been made against him.
Okay.
He has 6.6 million subscribers that utilize his channel, and they are now not being able to be utilized for his income on that platform. The decision applies to all channels that may be owned or operated by Russell Brand.
Okay.
So that doesn't just include his personal account. That includes anything that he uses. The suspension means that Brand won't be able to earn money from the ads that run within and alongside the YouTube videos, which have titles that include What Really Started the Hawaii Fires and COVID Czar Admits Lockdowns Were Never About Science. Brand still has a presence on Rumble, which is a video popular with
conservatives,
right-wings. Yep.
Yeah,
my little thing jumped.
Okay. your teleprompter.
My teleprompter jumped.
Okay.
So this is popular with conservative and far-right groups, where his channel has 1.4 million followers. He also has 11.2 million followers on X, and probably until he has to pay for that. And then 3.8 million on Instagram. Brand 48 denies allegations of sexual assault that is being made by 4 women in a Channel 4 television documentary and the Times and Sunday Times newspapers. Known for his unbridled and risque stand-up routines, Brand was a major UK star in the early 2000s. He hosted shows on radio and television, wrote memoirs charting his battles with drug and alcohol. He's appeared in several Hollywood movies and was even briefly married to pop star Katy Perry.
Okay.
Between 2010 and 2012. Did YouTube overreach on just allegations? Should he be allowed to keep his YouTube until proven guilty or innocent?
Well, see, I guess that's kind of a question that we kind of ask, right? So now if you're taking away your monetization, it doesn't sound like they blocked his channels completely. He just can't make money on it. So there's kind of an extreme where if they just said, hey, we're going to shut down everything. But YouTube's policy on how you make money on their platform and what you have to adhere to is pretty rigid.
Yeah, but this is taking something that's not to downplay any of this. But this is taking something that is unrelated to actual YouTube.
Correct.
And applying it to YouTube policy. So whether or not they have the not the ability, but the moral imperative to do so, that's what we're talking about. And this is part of that court of public opinion.
Well,
regardless of the allegations being true or not, we don't know because at this point they're simply allegations.
So I would hate to pull something out, right? If you don't know 100% that is the issue, right? I mean, so since you don't have an actual ruling on that, I don't know if I would be stripping off the monetization aspects from that. I think this kind of sets up a different precedent that you're going to have.
Well, this is already a precedent. This is people being punished for things the court of public opinion finds guilty, right? Okay. People feel pressure. I mean, we can, and again, I'm not downplaying any of this, but this is just some of the behavior that we're seeing with these types of platforms, like Tiger Woods, when he went through that messy divorce, he lost all of his advertisements.
He did,
right?
So it is interesting, right? Because you have a following, people hit you. So the whole social media aspect is unique. I don't know if I'd want to be on Google's board when they're making these decisions for YouTube and what they're doing and what they're not doing. But I know they spend a lot of time coming up with policies to make things fair. I don't know, though. My concern would be if I watched him on YouTube, which I don't, Russell Brand. But if I watched him on YouTube and now all of a sudden I start going over to these other alternative places to watch him, am I going to get more and more people with a subjective view instead of an objective
Every view? Is
view?
subjective.
Okay.
There is no objective view. I mean, this is just a thing that happens. If you are in the public eye, you are subject to this subjective thinking. Whether he did it or he did not, you now have precedents that you can be penalized monetarily or otherwise just simply from an allegation. There may not even be anything substantial behind it. That doesn't mean this is necessarily true in this case or in the cases that I've quoted. But the fact is that if you're in the public eye, there are consequences for actions that you're taking, which in some ways maybe that's good. I don't know. Maybe
you know what? It doesn't sound like they took down. I just looked at his channel. His channel is still on, so it doesn't. It's not that they took his channel offline. I guess I'd probably have more of a problem with that. They're just not allowing him to make money during this time.
Okay,
I guess so. That's kind of. I guess I'm kind of in between. I guess
this comes down. The behavior exists. We've seen it over and over and over again with other cases like Johnny Depp. We were talking about Johnny Depp earlier.
Yep.
It's out there. We all know it's out there. You have to make your own decision on whether this is a good thing or a bad thing or a positive thing or a negative thing. There's positive and negatives on both sides of that argument, and it's not for me to determine which one is which.
Sense. So, and they decided, YouTube and Google decided they were going to make a decision, and they did it. So there you go, I guess.
There you go.
There you go. All right, let's go to story number 3. TikTok has fined $345 million over children data privacy.
Not dollars.
Or $345 million. What is that? Is that
euros?
Euros. Sorry. Let's go to Tom Gitkin for news on the story.
Irish regulators have fined TikTok $345 million for violating children's privacy. The complaint concerned how the social media app handled children's data in 2020, particularly around age verification and privacy settings. It is the biggest fine to date TikTok has received from regulators. A spokesperson for the social media firm said it respectfully disagrees with the decision, particularly the level of the fine imposed. The criticisms are focused on features and settings that were in place 3 years ago, and that we made changes to well before the investigation even began. Despite the fine being in the hundreds of millions, it is actually smaller than other penalties seen in recent months, such as the $1.2 billion fine Meta was given by the regulator in May for mishandling people's data when transferring it between Europe and the United States. Nathan, I know you are a bit of a supporter of TikTok, but it seems Nick Espinosa might be valid with the concerns on this platform. Back to you in the studio.
All right.
Sorry, man.
Okay, well,
I know. Yeah, okay. I know you've been a very
big supporter
TikTok guy lately.
Yeah, they got fined. So let's talk about this. The Data Protection Commissioner, Helen Dixon, essentially found that accounts were made between the ages of 13 and 17 were made public by default on registration, meaning the content they posted was visible to anyone. So this is kind of their big linchpin that they're talking about, all right? The DPC found that TikTok had not been transparent enough with the children about its privacy settings and raised questions about how their data was processed. This is precisely at the hands of TikTok because of the way that they designed the platform, Ms. Dixon said, and so she is leading the charge to make sure that they change their processes. Now, the firm is given 3 months to make its data process completely comply with the GDPR, which is the Security Privacy for Europe, on their data standards. There also remains an investigation underway about whether TikTok has illegally transferred data from the European Union to China, the same topic we talked about between the United States and China. Now, TikTok is owned by a Beijing company firm ByteDance. The fine issued by the DPC specifically refers to 2020, and the TikTok took several actions after that to make it more compliant. Now, currently, if you have an account that is 17 years old or younger, it is essentially private by default.
Okay.
So I think we talked about this a lot too.
We talk, yeah. I mean, we talk
the
about
social media companies target teenagers. That is their market.
Yeah. So this is the way cigarettes were targeted to our generation.
Yep.
It was targeted towards us as young people.
Yeah. In the cowboy movies, all the cowboys were smoking cigarettes. You wanted to be the cowboy.
This is how they make money. Okay. Companies don't make money by targeting older folks. They make money by targeting younger folks.
Correct.
And TikTok is no different.
So
and, I mean, when TikTok came on the scene, it was primarily these kind of weird shorts of kids doing things, right?
Yep. Do you know that's now 80% of the social media market?
Yeah.
Within the last year, it moved from 20%, 50%. They now
why
own
not with
80%,
all the other shakeups going on?
Correct. They own 80% of the social media market in videos.
But it's still it's always funny to me to see how reactivity is involved, right? Where they do this, they know they're doing it, somebody calls them on it, they change the rules and start doing it differently,
and then they say they don't know why they
more compliant, blah, 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 and then they get fined, and then they're respectfully denying things. So, like, okay, I mean, this is just standard
protocol.
Corporate stuff.
This is a standard process. All right, well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on. If I told you that today we have the first ever cybersecurity insurance, not for a business, but for consumers on our show, would you be surprised?
Would I?
No, because you've been on every show.
Nothing surprises me.
Okay, so now we have it. So like earthquake insurance and hurricane insurance, these specialized insurance policies are specifically put in place to give comfort to your whole family. You're going to not want to miss our next segment coming on up, because now as a consumer, myself, my family can be protected. You and your family can be protected with a consumer insurance umbrella policy for cybersecurity. Now, think of all the questions in your mind of, will it protect this? Will it protect this? Will it protect this? I'm shooting off questions that are tough and not easy to answer. We're going to see what we got coming out of this. All right? We're going to take a commercial break. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. See you in a bit. Hello, listeners. We're excited here at TechTime Radio, aren't we, Mike?
Oh, no.
We have an announcement to make. We are so excited to be a part of the new launch of iTalk Radio Live, the internet 24/7 streaming service. You will still be able to listen to us live here at Kixie 880 and KKNW and all of our affiliate stations, but you'll be able to listen to us at 8 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now. We look forward to this new opportunity to provide you TechTime Radio every weekday. And again, you can always catch us online at techtimeradio.com. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time's a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break, and now we have Marc in studio to tell us what we are sipping in our pick of the day. Today on the show, what have we chosen?
It is Elijah Craig 12-year-old small batch. And I'll put a little caveat on there, so any whiskey nerds out there, it is front age stated. It is the old pirate bottle.
And that's a big deal. I was doing some research on that. I mean, there's handwritten labels on the pirate bottles and a whole bunch of other type of area when I was looking it up. So the pirate bottle is kind of the key thing.
And you can't get this anymore, right?
You cannot. So we'll talk about that in the mumbles. Don't ruin everything, Mike.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying. Too bad for you guys.
So let me tell you a little bit about this. So this is from Heaven Hill. It's from the Elijah Craig Distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky. It's straight bourbon. Of course, it's 12 years old. It's 94 proof, 78% corn, 12% rye, 10% barley. It was originally priced for a 750 milliliter at $28. Currently in the secondary market, it's going for about $125.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's just going up from there since it's no longer available, as you said, Mike.
Not at least for another 12 years.
Well, I don't know. This will be no longer available to anybody because I'm going to take this home with me. So it'll be all right.
Well, if you were to grab that bottle and look on the back of it, though, it says, "Perfection takes time."
It does.
And Elijah Craig has made it worth the wait. 12 years in the making, fresh limestone spring water, and a special yeast recipe that has been a family secret for generations. These are just some of the reasons why Elijah Craig, a true small batch bourbon before the term even existed, is considered one of the world's greatest bourbons, or so they used to say.
Well, it's
I can't say it's smooth because that's like a negative thing. So it has a great beginning and a
how
great
is that a negative thing?
Well, Marc last week told me I said the whiskey was smooth, and he's like, "Nah, that's not a good thing to say." So it's got a very low bite at the beginning, and it's just tranquil
has
throughout
a good
the
long
whole
finish.
taste.
Is
There you go.
that what
There
you
go.
mean?
There you go. That sounds
Okay.
better. All right. Well, with our first whiskey tasting complete, let's move on to our feature segment today. We have the president of USA operations of BOXX Insurance joining the show. We talked about cybercrime last week. This week, we're going to be talking about it in our
talk
fail
about
of the
it
week.
every week.
Every week. So that's
why we drink whiskey
That is
on
exactly
the show because
right.
of all the cyber problems.
But most of the time, we always are talking about breaches with businesses, large corporations. But BOXX, spelled with, again, 2 X's at the end, is moving cyber insurance to the personal level and now providing the insurance for your families. Like, again, earthquake, tornado, and hurricane insurance, the specialized insurance provides a piece of comfort for the family year-round. We're going to talk to our expert, and I spent time hopefully getting the name right. So we got Jill Ario. Itriago is what I got for his name. I hope that is right. We're going to get ready to bring him on to our Comcast stream to start this segment.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right, BOXX Insurance has launched the MyCyber Protection Program by CyberBox Home in the USA. This is the all-in-one product that goes beyond today's identity theft insurance plans by combining comprehensive cyber insurance with security tools and emergency assistance to ensure that Americans can remain safe online. This is not a joke like the LifeLock crap where it just says, hey, guess what? Once you're compromised, we'll kind of help you out a little bit, but we're going to wait till you get compromised first. It's a proactive approach to have there. Now, again, I hope I have Jill Ario. I hope, is that the way to pronounce your name? I know our assistant looked to make sure I could try to pronounce it the best. I butcher all the names. How do we pronounce your name, sir?
It's not far out. It's Hilario Itriago.
Hilario.
There.
Okay. Hilario.
I don't know where you got Jill from.
Okay. I was trying a little bit. Hilario, thank you so much. Welcome to the show. Now, tell us a little bit about the MyCyber Protection Program, what it does, and how it covers. And then I got lots of questions I'm going to ask you. So tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you for having me. Well, let me tell you a little bit about BOXX first. You know, we are a cyber insurance company. We're solely focused on cyber risks. We're part of Zurich Insurance Group. They're invested in us because of this particular niche that we're focusing on. And, we like it because, cyber is the most universal risk that we've had in a long time. It affects the richest of the rich, the poorest of the poor, the biggest of the corporations, the smallest of them all. And it so happens because we all have a smartphone in our pockets. So MyCyber Protection comes to really help individuals and families that no longer are limited to just have an ID theft coverage. No matter how much money it says it covers you for, it just doesn't cover you for phishing and ransomware. It doesn't cover you for cyberbullying or any of the other coverages that are way beyond the ID theft elements of today.
All right, so I got lots of questions. So first now, who backs and is partnering and underwriting this program? I think that's really important, right? Because sometimes cyber insurance companies talk really, really big, and then all of a sudden you see that they're underwritten by Travelers or they're underwritten by somebody you've never heard of. So, I mean, there's different underwriters. Who underwrites the actual program that you guys are using?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That matters and matters a lot. So MyCyber Protection is underwritten by Hartford Steam Boiler. A well-established, long in the market insurance company that is part of Munich Re. Munich Re is the largest property and casualty reinsurer in the world. So it is, as we like to call it in the insurance world, very good paper behind the product.
All right, so lots of questions that we have here. Okay, so first off, what is the coverage for my family? Let's say I signed up my family today. How much coverage do I get? What's the first part on that?
Well, the first thing is that you will be covered for things like online fraud, cyber attack, data breach, identity theft, home network and mobile security. You will also, in the case of your family, all of those plus cyber extortion, cyber bullying, and home title fraud. Now, in addition to those coverages, you have a range of limits. You could be cover yourself for up to $25,000, $50,000, or $100,000 in limits. So plenty to choose from.
Okay, so $100,000 limit is what I would recommend anybody listening to our show to get, because if you're going to get an attack that happens to you, you're going to need to actually have protection, because if these people are spending the time to target you and your family, they're probably going to come after you for some money. Now, what happens if I click on a link? We talk about this all the time in our letters segment, right? So I get an email in here. I think, of course, it's my great Aunt Edna, and I'm going to try to help her wire funds on Western Union because she needs money, and I accidentally type in my credit card information. I type in my information with
that's oddly specific, buddy.
Well, my credit card information, my bank information, and all of a sudden they get compromised, and so my bank accounts are compromised. Does your insurance process cover me being a bad actor and accidentally giving out that information?
Yeah, absolutely. So precisely on those examples you've just mentioned, our policy will protect you from financial losses in terms of cyber attacks, loss or theft of information, loss of funds via a fraudulent transfer. It would also reimburse you for approved ransom payments. And you're basically covered up to the limit that you've purchased on all those things. So you are covered.
All right, so let's talk about approved ransomware payments. So we're going to be talking about this in our technology fail for all of Las Vegas, which is all under fire right now with ransomware. So I get a ransomware and someone wants to have my information vaulted, and they say they have information from it and they want to take it, and they offer me to pay off a ransomware for $5,000 to $10,000. Does that mean your insurance then covers some of those payments, or how does that go?
Well, typically what happens when you actually are suspecting that you're being a victim, you immediately call what we call our Hackbusters line, which is a set of experts that actually take your call and take you through a set of questions to determine whether you're actually being a victim or not. About 80% of the calls that we received actually are people that think they're being victims, but the actual act hasn't been perpetrated. So we managed to avoid that. But in the case that we validated that you're actually a victim, then of course, whatever that has been agreed that you've been paid on that would be covered as part of the limit.
Okay.
All right. Well, okay. I'm just a normal Joe. I don't do a lot of technology. Technology doesn't affect my life a lot.
Okay.
At least in my not like yours. I'm not on there doing all kinds of stuff. Why would I need something like this?
That's a great question.
That's a great question. And the answer is, if you would have asked people back in 2018, about 7 out of 10 people would have said, yeah, I'm aware of cyber risks, but I'm not that concerned. If you ask today, recent studies have shown that 9 out of 10 people, not only are they worried about cyber, but they've actually either know someone or have been a victim of the cyber attack. So the reality is that even if you're not that tech savvy, Mike, even if you don't think that this is something that would happen to you, the question is, when is it going to happen to you? Because it will happen. It's no doubt about that.
It's like the motorcycle syllogism, huh?
Yeah.
It's not about if you're going to have an accident.
It's when it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
All right.
Absolutely right.
So I have somebody here off camera, and he had a couple questions also. So I'm gonna kind of rephrase what we were just talking about. So I get compromised. I pay a premium. Does that premium after I get compromised, does that lapse? Do I have to come back again? Because you know what? If I have a bad driving record, and let's say my son, my oldest son, has a bad driving record, what happens is after
him under the bus.
After he gets in like 7 wrecks, and all of a sudden, it's maybe not quite as bad. It's only 4. But after he's been in a bunch of wrecks, now all of a sudden his insurance will drop him. He has to go to a different place to get it. So if I have this insurance, I make a claim on this, do I have to pay then greater premiums, or what would happen after that?
Well, that example you're putting is typically what happens to organizations, whether they're small and medium businesses or large organizations. The reality is that in the consumer front, still, because it's early days on this, we're more focused on making sure that we're here to help you to protect individuals and families and so long as we've actually validated that, you've been a genuine victim of an attack, we've paid within the context of the policy wording and the limits, we'll renew you. I mean, these things happen. And in the context of the consumers, there's no reason why we shouldn't be dropping you unless we actually find that there's fraud involved in this, which, if it's not the case, we're covering you still.
All right. That's great to hear. I'm very excited about it. All right. So where can our listeners go to subscribe to, get information from you, to get a policy for you? Where is the best place to find that information?
So general information, visit us at BOXXinsurance.com. That's BOXX with a double X, as you said earlier. Okay. If you have a broker agent that already handles your insurance, tell them to contact us at BOXXinsurance.com, and we'll happily appoint them and get them to provide you with our products. So we're here to actually do products through your broker agent. And that's the way we distribute our services.
I hope our 35 million listeners are listening now and are going to go jump on to BOXX Insurance, BOXXinsurance.com, to get their personal home insurance taken care of. Me and my wife already talked about it. We are going to get this service set up so that we can be taken care of, because I do sometimes play in a little of the gray matter space at my home network.
Sometimes?
Most of the time. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll hopefully check back with you in maybe 5 or 6 months, and hopefully we don't hear anybody that's been compromised. But we thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right. That is our segment, Technology Insider. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as I will be doing so during the break. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
This is Marc.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer.
Called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, September 17th.
Oh, you've been waiting.
1976. That's right. NASA rolled out the first space shuttle, and it was called Enterprise. From its assembly facility to a waiting crowd, including in the crowd was a delegation of all the major actors from the Star Trek TV series, along with creator Gene Roddenberry. Notably absent, though, was William Shatner, known as Captain Kirk. Originally to be named the Constitution, a writing campaign by Star Trek fans convinced then President Gerald Ford and NASA to rename the space shuttle.
You know, that's pretty funny, actually.
What's that?
Well, it was going to be called the Constitution.
Yep.
And they changed it to Enterprise. Enterprise from the original series, I believe, was a Constitution class
spacecraft for Archer.
Was it? No,
I think it was an Archer. No, it was an Archer.
It was the original series.
Is
Constitution class.
Are you sure, or was that the Archer series?
I'm pretty sure, because the Archer series was an X class.
Was it an X class? Okay, you may be right. Okay, all right. The Enterprise was a prototype shuttle designed for the early testing phase of the space shuttle program. It was built without engines or a functional heat shield. While it performed various atmospheric flights, it was originally intended to be retrofitted for spaceflight. It was determined that it would be less expensive to just simply build a new shuttle Therefore, the Enterprise never did actually fly into space.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but they used to tour it around on a big 747. They'd carry it around on the back of
in
the
very back of it.
Yeah.
Yep, I do remember that. They actually had a showing, I think, up here in the Pacific Northwest at Boeing Field one of these days.
I imagine.
And we went down there, and it was a part of the space flight type of deal. Well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some tech time history with over 2 years of video podcasts and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us all the time live. And there's a new person in the Tech Timer Facebook group that seems to have figured it out, and he asks all his technology questions. So he says he's going to stop going into Geek Squad because he's getting all the information from us. So there you go. That's what you can do. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, we have the Marc Mumble Whiskey Review and our Technology Fail of the Week. You do not want to miss that. We'll see you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
All right, you loghead-headed, bilge-licking blowfishes. What's today? What's today?
It's Talk Like a Pirate Day, buddy.
It is. Mike knows it.
I knew that
not a
too.
scallywag.
I did. I saw that on my Sea of Thieves post.
I got an email this morning
Yeah.
at work.
It said Talk Like a Pirate Day.
And I forget. This
You can
is
go to
one
Facebook and you
this
can
is
actually
one of the
change
more
your.
well-known. This is one of the ones I know.
Yeah, me too. And we love pirates, right? I mean, have you been watching the new series One Piece? That
No,
pirate
you
show?
talked about that.
Oh my
you
word,
stopped
that
talking
is
about it.
phenomenal. Okay,
That's
sorry,
all I've
sorry.
heard is One Piece.
Let me tell you a little history about this day.
Okay.
So it was born in 1995 when two friends in Oregon jokingly created the holiday while playing racquetball and only celebrated with some friends.
Okay.
Then it wasn't until 2002, so 2002, that they wrote to humor columnist Dave Barry and asked him to be the spokesperson for National Talk Like a Pirate Day. He was very amused with the idea, so he wrote a whole column about the holiday, gave it national prominence, and it spawned a huge wave, as you guys know, since you both know about it, Talk Like a Pirate Day events and celebrations across the country. So grab some grog or whiskey, gather up your mateys, and let your imagination take you on adventures on the high seas.
Pirates are all the same age, right?
What do you mean they're all the same age?
Yeah, if you ask them.
What's that?
I'm 80.
I'm 80. I'm 80. You know what the pirate's favorite letter is?
No.
R.
Wow, that was.
There you go. Okay.
That was not even. That
so
was
let's
not
move
even
on,
a joke.
gentlemen.
Okay. All right.
Let's talk about our pirate bottle.
Okay.
So, Breaking Bourbon reported that a site citing a surge in popularity and supply was not being met by the Heaven Hill in the early 2016s. So what they had is a choice. The brand was it was heading towards what's known as a shelf ghost. That means where you just can't find the bottle anymore because they can't produce enough.
Okay.
So it's either going to be getting very hard to find, or they would have to raise their price, or they could lose its age statement and allow younger stock to be blending in to retain the sub $30 cost and just drop the age statement.
And what did they do?
Well, as you can tell, there's no more Elijah
made a
Craig
pirate
12
bottle.
here. So it's now just Elijah Craig small batch, which you have had on the show before.
Yeah, I actually enjoy it.
No, you gave it 2 thumbs down.
Did I?
It was
Elijah Craig?
2 thumbs down.
Did I really?
Yep. And this one you're loving.
I love
Don't
this
mess
one.
with Mark. He
knows
goes
it.
back
He
and
knows
looks
that.
at
Okay, I didn't like. Was it a bitter? I wonder if it was bitter. This is smooth.
Yeah. Now, since one can't readily find this whiskey anymore, you will have to hunt it out at specialty whiskey bars if you want to try it.
Do you have like a dark web? You know, I'm a dark web guy. Do you have like a whiskey?
He's got a whiskey web.
You got a little whiskey underground connections that you have? Yes.
No.
Yeah, that's what that means.
That's
That
what
means yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not. They're really not underground. We're above ground.
Okay. All right. Okay. Keep on going.
Sure.
So if you're a whiskey geek, go and try and find this, and you can compare this same whiskey with the current Elijah Craig small batch.
Oh,
and
this
see
is
if you
really
see a
good. So
difference.
if I didn't like the other one, then
Now, this
forget
one
it.
drinks a little hotter, in my opinion, than the 94 proof, which I like, because I like them a little hotter. The spice hits you first, and the sweetness from the caramel and the vanilla, and it finishes with a good bit of oak and barrel char. I find this older juice to have a bit more round mouthfeel and heavier on the rich, darker flavors than the current small batch.
Okay.
I do not have modern Elijah Craig small batch on myself, but I do have this bottle, so that should speak for itself.
Mm-hmm. This is good. I've liked this since.
I don't have to say anything.
You don't have to say anything.
No.
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 I don't think a pirate. R.
Just drink and smile.
I have a joke. for
Aye.
What's that?
you. Okay, what did the ocean say to the pirate?
What's that?
Nothing, it just waved.
Ah, there you go. Du-du-dum. We need to have a little.
Du-dun-dun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. There we
there
go.
you go.
Okay. All right.
Oh, our poor listeners out there.
Well, Mark, thanks for the mumble. Whiskey and technology.
You're
What a
gonna-
great pairing.
Okay.
It's just like the pairing of rewind movies, including such classics as Groundhog's Day and 50 First Dates. Right?
How much time do you put into like these little pairings that you do every
I
week?
started as just a little. It was just a little one-off.
Yeah,
And
now it's becoming like a thing for
It
you.
is. It is now a thing. It is
So
now
next week, Mike, I'll do it. It's going to be a pairing for the whiskey. It's going to be as good as Nathan and dad jokes.
Ah,
That's bad.
Yeah, he's anything
He-
but bad at bad.
He's really
All
bad.
right, now
at
let's get ready
dad
for our
jokes.
technology
He's a bad
fail
dad
of the
joker.
week, brought to you by Elite Executive Service technology experts to help you out of a technology fail.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, this week's technology fail comes to us as a continuation story from last week regarding cyber attacks in Las Vegas. If you're in Las Vegas right now, the casinos are under attack. Casino company Caesars Entertainment on Thursday of last week joined the Las Vegas gambling rival MGM Resorts International in reporting that it was hit with a cyber attack, but added in the report to federal regulators that its casinos and online operations were not disrupted. Well, that's not really the case. We're going to talk about that.
Wait, there was a video.
Well, hang on. We're going to get right to that. The disclosure by Caesars came after MGM Resorts International, the largest casino company in Las Vegas, reportedly last week that it had a cyber attack led to it shut down computer systems across the properties in the U.S. to protect its data. Now, MGM was allowing you to scan into any room you wanted with their card keys. They were providing no information on what was going on, and registration lines were 2 to 3 hours long. And if you had the ability to call on their customer service line, the best part of that would be that you'd be on hold from anywhere between 1 hour to 2 hours. So it was like a 4-hour check-in process.
That sounds like trying to get stuff from Xfinity.
That's right. MGM is still having problems from last week and has limited service operationals. They have a new website up that they posted up there, but they still do not have control. And I've seen pictures where you actually have a ORF radio frequency that if you need help from anybody, you go where the elevator should be and you call on that and someone will come running up with your card key to let you in. But now, that is all MGM's issues. We're now going to be talking about poor Caesars. Caesars Entertainment has engaged the FBI and said the investigation was ongoing but offered no additional information. Caesars is the largest casino owner in the world with more than 650 million Caesar reward members. Or 65 million. Did I say 650?
You said 650.
Sorry.
That's 60, a lot more.
65 million Caesar reward members and properties in 18 states and Canada under Caesars. Harrah's Horseshoes and the El Dorado brands. It also has mobile online operations, sports betting. And I've personally seen the poor Harrah's Casino on Sunday going dark on the casino floor, lights out, slot machines turned off. It is unknown if any precautions are a result of the cyber attack or if this was an actual real issue that had guest experiences compromised. Now, guess what happens when a casino goes dead and you're playing slots? You have to sit at that machine until it comes back on. Otherwise, when it comes back on, it resumes and there's already money in there. So they had people sitting there hours on hours to have the machines pop back up again so they could just get their money out of
That's what they do anyway.
Well, I guess
They just sit there hours and hours and punch buttons.
Well, if you're interested in having any of the casino reward IDs or credit cards available right now for $2 on the dark web, you can get a user account and see if you can find any information and use that credit card to protect yourself. If you have a credit card attached to any reward club associated with any Las Vegas casino, please go on in and see if you have any microtransactions. It starts with 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents. And then after that, it goes into the larger deposits that happen as a trigger of transactions. All right, we're going to move right now on to Mike's mesmerizing moment, brought to us by StoriCoffee. This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com. All right, we have another Amazon self-created holiday coming up here. We have the Prime Big Deal Days now on October 10th and 11th. We just had the Wonderlust event from Apple and the Microsoft Surface event coming up this week. What are your thoughts, Mike, on self-created holidays and promotional events?
I don't seem to have a problem with it like you do.
Okay, well, that's okay. That's what I'm asking you.
You go off on it.
I do.
Like it's some sort of like blasphemy of some magnitude that I just don't understand.
Okay.
To me, this is just Amazon trying to get money.
Okay.
And they're going to offer this, and we all know that Apple has its disciples, and anytime they want to shuck something down the line, they just open up a promotion about it, and everybody goes and buys stuff. So this is the same thing.
So it's not a big deal.
I don't think it's a big deal. No, it doesn't offend me. Anytime that I'm going to get as a consumer, anytime that I can get deals on stuff that I want, that's what I'm going to do. You know, it begs the kind of question of why I would wait for these type of things to occur. But the fact is that that's how we roll as human beings. So,
all right,
to me, this is something that Amazon is doing because they want more people to come on board, and they want to, show that they're the awesomest customer service place ever.
Okay.
Which they're not, but that's okay.
All right, well, now let's move on to the Nathan Nugget.
Well, you don't have anything to say?
Nugget of the
That was
week.
the Mike's mesmerizing moment. I my opinions are mute on that one.
You totally
I hate
were
it.
going
I hate
off
it.
on
That's
it
right.
last night.
All right, hundreds of flying taxis are now being made in Ohio and will begin operations in 2025. Have you ever thought about taking a flying taxi?
I have not thought about taking anything that is not driven by somebody human.
Oh, the same Ohio River Valley where the Wright brothers pioneered human flight will soon be manufacturing cutting-edge electric planes that take off and land vertically under an agreement announced Monday between the state and Joby Aviation, Inc.
It's Joby.
Is it Joby? Joby? All right.
Joby sounds good.
All right, Joby Aviation or Joby. There you go.
Who cares?
When you're talking about air taxis, that's the future. Republican Governor Mike DeWine told the Associated Press around the world electrical vehicles taking off and landing. Aircrafts will enter the mainstream, and they'll be able to be used by everybody. Now, this is interesting.
They're not going to be used by everybody.
Well, they say that they can go and hold up to 4 passengers at speeds up to 200 miles per hour. That's as quick as like airplanes go.
Yeah, how long?
For an hour.
For an hour.
Yep.
And how much? Because that's going to determine really who's going to take these flights.
Well, do you realize we're in 2023?
Yeah, I'm aware of that every day.
Okay, so in 2025, the ride-sharing network will begin in Ohio.
I don't.
That's a pipe dream.
Yeah, that's like saying that's like when you get a government contract and you say you're going to have this stuff deliverable by this date.
Yes,
everybody knows that's not the date.
So we're going to have flying taxis. We're going to have Back to the Future flying taxis here available in 2025 in Ohio.
Okay,
I'm excited.
I don't know why it's all the way in Ohio.
I don't know.
I would think it would be better off in
they made the
Las
announcement
Vegas or here in
from
Seattle.
the Wright brothers' home.
Well, that makes it real then.
Yeah, they did really well their first couple flights too. Do you know what happened to the Orville Wright brothers flights?
I don't.
They crashed. They had major crashes.
Well, duh.
At least
they didn't jump off a building with a suit.
That's right. Or how about out of a window in a fire? All right, now we're going to move on to our pick of the day.
Yeah, I'd help.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, Mark, give us our review. What are we tasting?
We're drinking Elijah Craig 12-year-old small batch, which is front age stated. The pirate bottle made pre-2016.
Oh, this is so good. What are you giving it?
I take it you're giving it a thumbs down.
Heck no. This is like 2 thumbs up and another thumbs up and a big toe thumb.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares what yours is because you give
It's so
everything a thumbs
surprising
up.
how much flavor is in a lower proof bourbon.
This is good. I like this. It's the thumbs up for me. And I'm the one that matters because you like thumbs up anything that costs.
Mark, what do you say about this? You like this thumbs up?
Oh, this is thumbs up, yeah. I was going to a bar to get a couple pours of this, and I finally found a bottle from a guy.
All right. Well, we're about out of time. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program. Listeners, we always want to hear from you, so just visit TechTime Radio and click on the Be a Caller to ask a question. Remember, as always, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Bye,
see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.